there's a quiet kind of pain that no one wants to admit. It hides behind laughter, filter, and half-true captions about living free. It's the emptiness that creeps in when the noise fades, when the phone finally goes dark, and you realize how little of what you have been chasing actually holds to you. We are told this was liberation, that love, intimacy, and even our bodies were arenas of freedom. And for a while, it felt like victory. No rules, no shame, just freedom. But freedom, when stripped of meaning, slowly turns into emptiness. It's like drinking salt water. It quenches thirst for a moment and then leaves the soul more dehydrated than before. Søren Kierkegaard once said, "The greatest danger, that of losing oneself, can pass off quietly as if it was nothing." This is the danger. We have confused freedom with detachment, thinking that to care less is to suffer less. But in truth, detachment often becomes a slow erosion of identity. Psychologists call it emotional desensitization. When pleasure is repeated without connection, the brain stops linking joy to meaning. It links it to habit. Dopamine floods, fades, and demands more. More novelty, more stimulation, more faces, more validation. And slowly, the person disappears under the mask of pursuit. In the 20th century, a revolution began. Sexual freedom was meant to equalize the genders. Women, long confined by double standard, wanted control over their choices, and rightfully so. But somehow, along the way, freedom turned into pressure. Pressure to perform, to appear unbothered, to treat intimacy like a game. The revolution that promised empowerment began rewarding emotional numbness. Simone Beauvoir wrote, "Freedom is not achieved through denial but through transcendence, through the assumption of one's choice and their meaning." Yet, meaning was the first thing we abandoned. Science quietly confirms this. The hormone oxytocin, released most during emotional or physical closeness, creates bonding and trust, especially in women. When this bond forms and breaks repeatedly, the brain adapts to surpassing trust to protect itself. That's why many now describe relationship as draining or pointless. It's not weakness, it's biology defending itself. We have turned intimacy into a kind of marketplace, where desire is traded for attention, and attention feels like love. But love is not attention. Attention is just the echo of loneliness calling out for company. Plato in the Symposium described love as the search for one's other half, the journey of two souls seeking wholeness. Today, that journey has been replaced with a swipe, a match, a chat, and often silence. The more options we get, the less value we assign to each other. Psychologists call it the paradox of choice. When everything is available, nothing feels special. We are overstimulated yet undernourished. Our bodies experience connection, but our souls never arrive. Social media promised connection but delivered comparison. Dating app promised romance but reward convenience. We have gained access to everyone but intimacy with no one. Statistically, loneliness is now considered an epidemic. In the US and across modern society, studies show people reporting less sex, less commitment, less happiness, and more anxiety and depression than any other generation before. How can a world so connected feel so alone? Because connection without commitment is like light without heat. It illuminates but never warms. Erich Fromm wrote in The Art of Loving, "Love is not primarily a relationship to a specific person. It's an attitude, an orientation of character which determines the relatedness of a person to the world as a whole." But when love becomes performance, something to prove instead of something to share, the character decays. In our pursuit for freedom, we have abandoned patience. We forgot that love is a slow-growing thing. That intimacy matures not in excitement, but in endurance. Carl Jung taught that every person carries both masculine and feminine energies, the animus and the anima. He believed that true maturity comes when we integrate both, reason with emotion, strength with tenderness. Without this integration, we remain half-beings, chasing others to complete what we haven't built within ourselves. This is why many relationships today collapse, because people seek others not to share their wholeness, but to borrow it. And borrowed wholeness always expires. Psychologically, faithfulness and delayed gratification builds resilience. The brain learns to value long-term reward over instant pleasure. Spiritually, it restores dignity. The sense that love is not just chemistry, but covenant. To rebuild love, we must first rebuild ourselves. We must reclaim depth in a shallow world, and that starts with silence, self-awareness, and the courage to love definitely.